Welcome to the Stronger Leader podcast, home of the hashtag Stronger movement, where we explore the fascinating tapestry of human experience. I'm your host, Tony Cardello. Each episode, we'll sit down with a remarkable guest to dive into their unique journeys, from successful business leaders to individuals who have faced the darkest of times and emerged stronger, even from some of the inspiring youth of this emerging generation. We'll also cover essential topics on marriage, leadership, as well as spiritual, physical, and mental health, all in hopes to provide you with the tools and motivation to navigate your own life's challenges. Whether you're here to learn, grow, or simply be inspired, there's something for everyone. So get comfy, settle in, and join us as we embark upon this journey together. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Turn on the notifications so you'll know whenever we drop new content. All right, let's get started. Welcome to another episode of the Stronger Leader podcast with your host, Tony Cardello. The crowd goes wild. I'm here with a couple special guests. One of my longtime best friends in the whole wide world, Frank Termini. What's up, Frankie? And a new friend of mine that I'm super excited to hear some of his story, my man, Mitch Thompson. What's up, Mitch?
What's up, everybody?
You gotta. Yeah, there we go. You got to make everybody cheer for Mitch, too. All right. So, real quick, couple things here. So, I got a little shout out to the Mod Project. So, this episode's brought to you by the Mod Project. I think that's what you do in advertising, right? Brought to you by the Mod Project. So,
what is it?
So, these guys actually do Apple Watch cases, right?
Yeah,
so this is the AP Mod case, and I have another one here that's in silver stainless. This watch, just so you guys, if you don't know what
that's rose gold
Audemars Piguet, an Audemars Piguet is about $40,000 watch, and so this is not a $40,000 watch, but it sure looks like one. I'll tell you what, I've had a lot of really good.
I want that silver one.
It's good looking, right?
Where do you buy them?
I thought you'd never ask, Frank. I have a link. I'll send. There's a link in my bio and the link tree, and then if you hit Stronger 20, you'll get 20% off. I think it knocks $40 or $50 off the price of the deal, so it's good. And then also, of course, my dealerships, the McCarthy Auto Group. This episode's also being sponsored by the McCarthy Auto Group. We've got Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Subaru, and of course, we are the Kansas City's leading Chevrolet group. So if you guys need an automobile of any sort, if it's a used car, I can get it for you. And what I always tell everybody is if I can't get it, you don't need it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So anyway, all right. Well, fellas, appreciate you sitting through that. We got to pay the bills, even though I don't think anybody's paying anything for any of those spots. I'm just my shout outs, right? So makes the episode look better. Anyway, so Frank and Mitch own a company called Core Physical Training, right? Core Personal Training.
It's actually
Core Personal Training.
Actually the LLC, I believe, is Physical Training.
Because that's your old company, right? But the business name, DBA, is Core Personal Training.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And these guys specialize in online training, but it's not just online training. It's complete lifestyle coaching, really, all the way from spiritual, mental, nutritional, physical, everything. You guys are.
And Mitch, I don't want to speak for both of us, but I don't see how you can attack one without the other.
And I think that's the unique thing that you guys bring to the table because you've identified that. And too many people try to stay segmented in that, and they sell hope, some bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, now that I'm in this social influence space, everybody wants to be a coach. Everybody wants to be a personal trainer. Everybody, you know what I mean? But nobody really wants to dive in and help somebody with their entire life.
Not only have we recognized it, that you can't attack one without the other, but the food selection is designed to help you neurochemically.
Yeah, so it's because it's going to generate there's from inflammation and everything else, right?
The inflammatory component's different.
Okay.
That's going to help you from an orthopedic standpoint.
Cognitive is what you're talking about.
Neurochemical.
Your
neurotransmitters Go ahead, Mitch. You're way better at this than I am.
The best way
Here, let's do this. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause for a minute. Let's get it. Mitch, I want to know who you are. Where you from? Where you grew up? Frank's been on the show before. We'll go back to you in a minute and touch base on who you are, because we care.
I know.
But Mitch, you're new. You're new to the show. You've never been on before, and I don't know you personally. And you mentioned something really cool about what you were going to do. So go tell us who you are, where you grew up, where you're from. All that good stuff.
Well, I'm from Kansas. Well, I was born in California, raised in Kansas City. I've been here since I was like 2. I went to Oak Park High School for 3 years, graduated from North Kansas City, went to William Jewell for actually half a semester. That was an ordeal of, I didn't read the syllabus. If you didn't go to class, I guess you didn't really get a good grade. That was the whole point of it. I passed the test, but I didn't go to class. I was a college dropout. I flunked out my first year at William Jewell as a result of, again, me just being a degenerate. I thought I could just ease through with minimal effort, and I was coasting through all of my late teens into my early 20s trying to just figure out what I wanted to do.
Now, how old are you now, Mitch? You
29.
look like you're 19. You talk like you're 87. I mean, I'm
29.
You're intelligent like you're a doctor. I mean,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it all. And you're good looking.
Well, I appreciate it.
Some guys have all the luck, right?
Frank, there's a sweatshirt behind that thing that you can kind of jam and it'll keep that thing from crawling up on you. You might just have to move it every now and again.
No, that's right.
All right.
Nobody.
But yeah, Kansas City kid. After my late teens, after I flunked out of William Jewell, I kind of went the personal training route as a result of every athlete, when they aren't an athlete anymore, they're trying to explore their identity. If I'm not a basketball player, if I'm not a football player, what am I?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big conversation that, a lot of football coaches should, if they're not already having that with their players, let alone wrestling coaches. Any sports coach should be realistic with the expectations that their athletes have in leveraging the sport to their advantage rather than giving them false hope, false dreams that they could do something that is honestly not within their wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the role of a coach is to just prepare the next generation irrespective of their athletic endeavors as a future athlete.
Yeah.
I didn't really have that growing up. I had a really good high school freshman coach. He was the varsity coach. I was a freshman starter for one of the most recent Hall of Fame inductees to the Missouri Hall of Fame of head coaches for basketball in particular. His name is Fred Turner. And, he had established a level of integrity. Like you guys talking about success and it not being about the outcome. He was a big John Wooden guy. And so, as a 15-year-old, I'm reading John Wooden books. I'm trying to learn about what it means to be a leader as a underling, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And, one thing that stuck with me is a quote from John Wooden, which is, success isn't the accumulation of material possession or items. It's the peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. And so the idea of your effort being the outcome, defining the outcome of whatever your wins or losses seem to be, I think is way more important than the wins or losses themselves.
That's why we talk about it's all a lot of times to define success, and then I think that's a coaching moment in itself because people don't know how to define success responsibly.
No,
right?
And when you got John Wooden as the anchor point of your sports outlook, I think it gives any newbie a very solid foundation to base their entire athletic career off of, and it has least to do with the performance itself. Mm-hmm. It has more to do with the mindset. And that is an undervalued aspect of coaching that I just didn't receive a lot growing up. And so once I navigated my late teens, flunked out of college, wanted to be a personal trainer, navigating my identity, who am I, what do I want to do with my life, one common denominator was always teaching and trying to just help people. And I found personal training was an outlet for that was invaluable in that you're not only helping them clear the cobwebs mentally, emotionally, psychically, spiritually, but you're physically making their pain you're relieving their pain. Mm-hmm. You're giving them, like we were talking about a second ago from a food standpoint, better neurochemistry to operate their day-to-day operations from, so they're not having to depend on medications or any other BS exogenous support. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that's one of the things that are super, super unique about you guys, and because most people in the training space that I've seen, they're going straight after the aesthetics. It's the easiest thing. It's what most people, they look in the mirror, they want to look better.
Which is why
right?
athletes go to be trainers usually, because they have the aesthetic.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah.
And I think though you guys have that element, that's not what you preach. That is like, that's a byproduct.
Literally.
It is literally a byproduct. It's not, hey, sign up with us and you're going to have 6-pack abs. It's like, you may not. I mean, you're probably going to.
I don't.
Yeah.
It depends on your genetic predisposition.
But I don't. Here's the thing.
It's like so far down the list, though, was what I'm saying. Like people, can you make me look good? Yes, most likely, but
well, and it's not
what
even.
if-
It's really not even a most likely. It's rationalizing their expectations to the reality of their circumstance. And if you have somebody that's 300,
define success.
right? Exactly. Because if you're 350 pounds and want to look like 2005 Brad Pitt, you got to just ask yourself. Even though, I mean, what really was that physique compared to what we can do now? You know what I mean? It's like you got to be realistic with these expectations. And if you sell somebody a bill of false goods, then that to me is really the problem with most of these coaches in this community. Most coaches in general, most people that are selling bullshit to begin with. I mean, as a car salesman, especially if you're dealing with the used car side of sales, there is a lack of integrity that can take you very far. But you got to ask yourself, is that sustainable?
Sustainable, yeah.
But really, is that moral?
Moral?
Is that worth
Yeah.
the morality that you may be compromising?
You're selling out.
Because I could take off my shirt, show my 6-pack, and say, "You want to look like me? Sign up for our program."
Yeah.
That's
You'll
just
get
not
more
realistic.
signups.
It's just not realistic, and it's also not, again, morally or ethically the right message to sell people when there's something way bigger at hand. And the biggest thing is change the way you feel. Well, really, change the way you think. You can then change the way you look, and you can change the way you feel.
Yeah, and let's be real. People don't realize that they think if they can look better and look in the mirror and be happy, they will feel better about themselves. They don't understand.
There's a lot of people that look good, feel like shit.
And there's a lot of people who probably feel really good that don't look all that great, but they're on top of their game. They're happy. They're at peace.
Yeah.
Listen, I've learned, especially through my spiritual journey, is that you can't replace anything with joy and peace. It's the King Kong like metric of everything. If you can define that as your measurement of success and really tap into that, everything else becomes irrelevant.
Well, what you have to discern between a success and fulfillment.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you could be successful and not fulfilled at all.
Yeah.
Robin Williams hung himself.
Well, I think and that's what we were talking about, defining that, right? Defining that success.
So, I mean, and he was very successful.
Yeah,
That's why if you think about it, success is peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction.
Yeah.
In knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. Like, if people just knew how to eat better, if they knew how to move better, my whole thing, whether it's core personal training, whether it's all the personal training I've done the last 10 years, it's focusing on biomechanics and bioenergetics. So it's focusing on helping you move more efficiently and helping you burn energy more efficiently. And most people just don't know how to do that. Most people aren't taught how to do that. A lot of experts and supposed experts aren't taught how to do that. I can't tell you how many people have came through my gym or have come through us through core personal training and have.
It's down in there. Just
You're right.
I told you it's a pain in the butt. Just do what you got to do. Jam it in there.
They've got all the credentials in the world. They have worked with some of the top experts here and there for this and that. Yet they never had the ability.
You finish.
I told you it's
I'll figure it out.
I got it duct taped and everything else. It just doesn't. You can have all of it. I'll get you all lined up.
Yeah.
But
I'll buy him.
are you talking about the t-shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even realize he had a book published. I'm gonna have to put a couple in my gym, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the book too.
yeah,
I'll mention that later.
we'll get in that. I look at it as you have to give people the opportunity to find success. You have to give them the springboard to launch theirself into success, which is only through education and providing them the right tools.
Still coming in.
Is it really?
Here, hold on.
No, I think it's all right.
No, it's just we equipping people with the tools to be able to define success more thoroughly will allow them to then achieve the success. When they're operating from this opaque sort of vague definition where they don't even know how to define it themselves, how can you expect them to achieve it?
Yeah, right.
And though some people may be out of shape but feel good, or some people may look good but not feel as good. I feel like everybody, because of how nutrition science and kinesiology has kind of been outdated, namely leading up to the point we are now with how young it is, I think a lot of people, majority of people, could just feel better. But they don't know how to do that, and that's where we kind of come in to teach them how to eat better, how to move better, ultimately how to live better.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. So we'll get into some of those details. I want to go back up to, all right, so you were going to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't, let's go that route.
Yeah, so I went to college, and then I flunked out from not going to class.
Where'd you go to college at?
William Jewell.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to William Jewell for a year or for a half a semester. And then I started, again, trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Scholarship or any money to go?
Yeah, a bunch of academic scholarships. Mm-hmm. My claim to fame is I could never fully dunk in a basketball game, but in the walk-on tryouts for William Jewell, I was able to not only dunk, but I impressed the coach enough, who knew my freshman high school coach, Coach Turner. He said, "Man, if you want to legit stay to walk on, we'll potentially offer you a scholarship." I was triple majoring. I had no time for that. I was taking 20 credit hours. Yeah. Was not in my deck of cards. I had accepted my role as an athlete at that point. But I impressed the coach and felt kind of cool about it, Flunked out half a semester later. I was meandering a little bit, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I actually started writing my first book, published it actually when I was 22. I started it when I was 18, right as I flunked out. It was kind of a historical narrative, super boring history book. But that was when I was dabbling in personal training. And eventually it's funny because Frank, weren't you going to go to Benedictine College?
I did go to Benedictine.
You did go to Benedictine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So you know the monastery that's down there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was telling Tony, because we never really talked about it on the podcast. There was a point in time right at 2018 is when I published my first book, went out to California, tried to find a literary agent, thought I was going to be on all the big podcasts, thought I was this young kid with this history and religion book, and I was going to do all these big things. None of that panned out. And so I realized, more realistic, let me go be a monk. And so I was going to go down the monastic route.
Such a great transition.
Well, my book was about history, religion. I had spent... when the red pill space and the man help space really started coming about, like in 2021, 2022, a lot of the dudes my age were trying to figure out what they wanted to do with their life. And 2018 up until 2016 up until 2019, 2020, I had been going through a near ascetic route, a monk life route anyway, because I didn't have a job. I was living in my mom's basement. I'd kind of made a deal with her where I was like, let me just finish this book, and then I'll go stop being a degenerate. And what's funny, she was just renting this house. Not like she owned the house or nothing. So there was like a level of I could have and should have easily also helped with a part-time job, financially help my mom out, but I was a degenerate, didn't even know better. And yeah, I realized, you know what? All this earthly shit ain't cutting it for me. I'm gonna go the aesthetic route. And I was committed to going to a Benedictine monastery and being an Orthodox monastic monk. So
tell me, cause I'm completely ignorant of that. Is that Benedictine's a Catholic college, right? So is that a Catholic?
So the monastery, the monastery.
Hey, hold on. Now you won't.
Benedictine is Saint Benedict's.
Yeah,
so they're Catholic.
I'm pretty sure Saint Benedict. So a lot of the early church fathers, they split between Orthodox and Catholic. Mm-hmm. Really, the schism happened in 1054, I believe. So up until that point, there's a lot of overlapping patriarchs and early church fathers that overlap between Orthodox and Catholic. And I'm pretty sure Benedictine monasteries is an Orthodox. I might be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure they're an Orthodox though.
Orthodox is very similar to Catholicism.
They're literally, there's like small minuscule differences. It has to do with something that happened in the 6th century. Are you familiar with the Filioque Way or anything like that? Mm-mm. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We could get into church history. I love talking about that stuff, as you can see.
Well, they were all Catholic priests at Benedictine. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, so Benedictine College is a Catholic college. Yeah.
But the
monastery, I believe, is an Orthodox monastery.
It's like one of the only Benedictine. Well, hold on. The president of the school is incredibly conservative. Mm-hmm. Like if you remember Harrison Bucker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did the Sisters of Mount St. Scholastica support that? No, but they don't have the balls to do it.
Right.
But
so tell me, what's a monk What does a monk do?
So you can think about it. When most people think monks, they think of like Buddhist monks.
Like Tibetan, the
Yeah.
Tibetan monk and the robe and all that stuff.
The idea of a monk, and specifically within Christianity, they're ascetics. Is what it's called, asceticism. It's giving up earthly
Not
pleasures.
aesthetics.
Not aesthetics. Yeah, it's ascetics.
Okay.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, right.
Especially if you have a lisp, right? Could you imagine? Ask Tyson to say that. That's wild. So they give up earthly pleasures and they devote their life to the religious discipline, essentially. It's like the simplest way to think about
They
it.
still, up at Benedictine, will have the monks, and you'll hear them, God darn it.
Like doing chants?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, doing like Gregorian chants.
So,
There you are.
so is this? Would it be for layman in layman's terms? Would it be like a really like next level of a priest?
Yeah, yes, in that they're not really...
Because priests are like devoted and take all
Yeah,
the
but
similar type of, but they seem
They
a
go to
little bit.
seminary. They go to seminary. And
But they're a
monks-
little more integrated into society. Are monks
Yes.
not as much?
Yeah, monks are essentially, you could just say the interpreters of scripture that priests may go to get more in-depth knowledge, but they're not directly an intermediary with the congregation. So a monk
Right.
isn't technically preaching or isn't extending their arm through their biblical knowledge to the congregation. That's where the church leaders actually come into play. They're on the outskirts of essentially refining, updating the modern interpretation of scripture into modern times to the best of their abilities, because they are the go-to scripture experts. It's like the best way to think about it.
Okay.
It's different amongst different cultures, different sects. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, right. I like it.
And different religious orders. So if you even like a Buddhist monk is going to be different than a Christian monk. Rabbinical monks technically weren't called monks; they were just called priests. But the partitioning of those roles, specifically when Orthodox and Catholic split, became more defined. Where you've got like 10 different classes of monks within Orthodoxy. It's a little simpler within Catholicism, mainly because the order of the bishops is really the most important hierarchical structure. So they don't really count anybody that's not committed to liturgy, that's not committed to being a part of the congregation.
I got you.
So yeah, I was just going to be a scripture interpreter. I wanted to. My whole goal through being a monk was to eventually go back to school to learn original Greek, classical Greek, to be able to read the New Testament in its original language. Like that was my whole plan.
Right.
COVID hit and that all went to shit. So,
So let me ask you this. From a belief standpoint, they're going to get off subject here.
yeah, I was going to say that's a whole.
So,
There is no subject. We are the subject.
But I gotta know. You were going to be a monk. So do you believe in transubstantiation?
What the hell
That's
is
what I'm saying. That's
What
such
is
a
that?
deep. That's such a. You want to explain it to?
Yeah.
Transubstantiation is the one thing that separates Catholics from Christians, and that they believe during the consecration of the Mass that the priest physically changes bread and wine to body and blood. That's the one main thing Catholics believe that Christians don't.
There's so much nuance in it, but to give you an idea, I am a firm believer in the integrity of the early church fathers in church history. I essentially follow, more than anything, what's called ante-Nicene, which is pre-Nicene, which is the Nicene Creed happened in the 4th century, which is where Constantine got all the church leaders together around the world and said, we need to define Christianity. All the early church fathers up to that point had a pretty universal...
Who also invented Christmas.
You're thinking of St. Nicholas.
Constantine is the Emperor Constantine is where Christmas came from.
Kinda. There's just so much nuance in it.
love
Yeah,
it.
we'll say yeah. But the idea is there are differences in different Christian faith structures. The closer to modernity you get, the closer to modern times you get. And I'm a firm believer of keeping it as close to Jesus as possible. And when you deal with certain things like transubstantiation or the filioque, do you know what the filioque is?
I don't remember it. I do know the term.
Or is it faith alone, or is it by scripture alone, which is the argument of sola fide versus sola scriptura? Like, there are so many nuanced arguments that I look at it as we need to get the foundations down first, which is most defined by the early church fathers. And the term Catholic, like when Frank said Catholics versus Christians, I see it as all Christians are under an umbrella.
Right.
Catholics and Orthodox are the two primary parts of the trunk, and then Protestantism branches off from that trunk. And yeah, the early church fathers, Ignatius of Antioch, he was one of the early church fathers.
That over off Vivian in Antioch.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But that is where that comes from.
Yeah.
Well, there's Ignatius of Antioch and Ignatius Loyola.
Right, yeah. And so Ignatius, he was one of the early church fathers that said, used the term Catholos, Catholic, universal is what it meant.
Open to all.
Open to all when he defined the early Christian church. And so I look at anybody, even if they consider themselves Orthodox or Protestant, if they are adhering to the tenets of what it means to be a scripture, they are Catholic. So you can use the term Catholic as the overarching term of welcoming all from its true etymological origin, from its true word root origin.
Mm-hmm.
But the Roman Catholic faith, I think, is separated from the cultural and
It's not very universal.
From the cultural and systemic history that stems from the church itself.
What do you claim that right now? Are you a non-denominational Christian?
Yeah, I would say non-denominational, but I'm more Orthodox and Catholic. Okay. I follow the early church fathers. I'm still on my faith journey and trying to. Do
you go to church?
Yeah, I will bounce in between. There's a few that we've explored, my wife and I, and the men as the leaders. It's up to us to really decide like how to gauge and.
So where do you go? What's your cup of tea? What do you prefer?
Here's the thing. I grew up Protestant, and so there is a renewal of the discipline of both traditional aspects of church, both Catholic and Orthodox. I just wish I knew Greek and Latin. That's all. I wish I knew Greek and Latin. It would be way more enjoyable. But I enjoy it. I think there's a necessary mundanity that people dismiss church for when deep down that necessary boredom, we'll say, forces you to focus and then find the wisdom in the boredom. But we're so caught up in instant gratification, no one can really find that intrigue in that service.
So here, I'll tell you, then you'll appreciate my perspective on this. So as a Catholic my entire life growing up that way, and then becoming non-denominational, I wouldn't say I stepped away from the Catholic Church. I just started going to a non-denominational church and really learning. When I got saved, January 16th, when I gave up all the drugs and walked away, I really dove into religion, and I developed a relationship with Jesus Christ. And I never ever knew that. I was never taught that. I was taught everything else. I know all the Bible stories. I was never taught to like physically. You were
taught the church history and the church culture.
When to stand up, when to sit down,
exactly.
all the prayers to recite, all the sacraments.
Ritual, not relationship.
No, it's taught routine. It was taught tradition.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
So I will tell you this: at my church, at Life Church, the relationship part with Jesus is what we talk about all the time. Jesus is the center of everything we do, right? We have a communion deal that's over off to the side that's got a little cup with the bread and the juice and whatever, and it just sits over there. We never take it. You can go get it anytime you want. It's there for if you wish. We never participate in that, and I miss that. When I go to being Italian, when I go to a Catholic mass for funerals or weddings or whatever, I attend Catholic masses every now and again. When I do now, I absolutely appreciate how gorgeous the reverence of the service is because I understand it.
But you had to get that relationship first.
If they would teach more people, because then I get to go receive communion. I'm in that. I appreciate.
You're basked in the wisdom of the Spirit. That's the biggest thing. And when you have the relationship, you can actually endow yourself in the Spirit. But when you don't have that relationship, you can't feel the Spirit.
Yeah, and it's like when you're talking about in the mundane, it's because if you don't know anything about church and religion, whatever, and you go to a Catholic mass, it's friggin' boring.
So when you ask me,
the only part that I like is the homily. Right. I mean, the rest, I like the gospel. Yeah, I like the Gospels and the readings and all that. Yeah. And then I like the homily. And then after that, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, right.
I'm ready to go.
That's what my wedding was great because that's all it was. It was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We were out. Yeah. We did a Catholic mass for our wedding. It was like a 20-minute mass. Yeah. But yeah, so that's, I think that if we if the Catholic religion would spend a little bit more time. Now, listen, you sit with a Catholic priest, he knows all about the relationship with Jesus because they were founded in that, right? That's what it's all about, the base. But then they get, and I don't know, man. There's so, I don't want to get into conspiracy theory and all that, but I just feel like the whole the governing body of Catholicism has gotten into so much control.
It's $1 billion a year tax-free industry.
It's got its own zip code.
It's going to be
literally has its own zip code.
It's going to have hiccups.
That's the whole bifurcation between Orthodox and Catholicism, specifically Roman Catholicism, is the idea of papal infallibility, which was only the 18th century. That's what you got to realize. Like, there's a lot of the big disagreements within the Orthodox and Catholic schism that got substantiated in the 1800s and early 1900s. And that's one of my biggest problems, is the corruption of the institution.
Here, so how about this for irony? You'll appreciate this, Frank, because you're part of this story. So one of the things that drove us away from the Catholic religion, I'm not going to name any names, but we wanted to get married in the Catholic Church, and we wanted to go to Our Lady of Sorrows. Gorgeous, right? Have you ever been down there? It's a gorgeous church. Got the one of the Cosentino brothers painted the deal back in the day. I mean, it's an old school Catholic. It's just absolutely stunning. But Dominique's priest would not go marry down there. He said, "You can use our church." She said, "We don't have a center aisle. We can't walk down the center aisle." He goes, "It doesn't matter. It's a good church." And he said, "Tell you what, I'll do it if you tell your parents to tithe 5,000 to the church." And so, so we just got. So
what would you do for 10,000? You should ask them. What do I get for 10?
So here's the deal. So that turned us off. Okay.
Sure.
So that was his heart putting, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And everybody talks about with the Catholic Church being $1 billion, you know what I mean? The money, right? Well, nobody really understands the blessing that's unlocked when you learn how to tithe and this guy right here is the one that actually turned me into that. He came to me I'll tell you the story. He came to me during when I was first got sober, and we talked to me. He says, "Cuz, are you tithing?" I said, "Tithing." Wrote, "I'm like $7,000 a month short on my bills right now. I can't afford to tithe." He says, "Sounds like to me you can't afford not to tithe. You need his help." So I said, "You know what? I got nothing to lose." I went to church that week. I was making $1,000 a week cash. I'd lost my job. I got a new job. My buddy was helping me out. This is when I was starting my climb back up. Right? I had nothing. I was in debt, $1 million in debt. I mean, it was rough. Right? And I had $11,000 a month were my bills before I ate a morsel of food or turned a light on. I had boats, cars, houses. I just had to get off all this stuff, right? But I was making $4,000 a month cash. My wife was making $2,000 or $3,000 a month. That was it. So I would go, and he tells me that. So I go Friday, I get my paycheck, I go to the bank, I cash, I get $1,000. I go to church that Sunday, I give 10%, right? I had all this stuff stored in a warehouse from when I was jacked up on meth. I had go to rummage sales, and I thought I was hustling, but I was just tweaking.
For sure.
And so I had all this stuff listed on Facebook, Craigslist, Market, whatever. I was trying to get off all this crap that I had down there because I had to get out of this warehouse, but I'm sober now. It's not fun to me anymore, and I would go to church. I would tithe. I would come out of church, and my inbox would be flooded with people wanting all the stuff that were on my listings. I'd tell my wife, "I can't believe this." I'd go down there, I'd sell $2,000-$3,000 worth of stuff. I'd come home, I'd give her the cash, she'd pay whatever bills. I'm telling you, Mitch, I was $7,000 short on my bills for about 3 months, and I never missed a payment. Never missed one payment. And life just kept, and then I would get a job. I got another job that paid better. Now my checks are getting bigger. I'm committed to this tithe at this point. I give $10,000, and then my checks are. I give $1,000.
But for them to try to force you through conditionality,
and not teaching.
Right.
They don't. I think the Catholic religion misses the teaching of the relationship with Jesus. They miss the teaching of the tithe. They miss the teaching of the reality of what's in the Bible.
Here's the issue, and here's the thing that the Catholic Church misses when it comes here. How do I want to say this? I don't want to just say it's the Catholic Church, but the vehicle where they're missing the mark is God don't need your money.
Correct.
It's not his fault that the closest thing tied to your heart, and my heart is the dollar. That's why he wants the money.
Yeah.
because of how close we're holding it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't know what is behind your obedience.
Correct.
Just like you don't know what's behind your disobedience.
Right.
So you could choose your sin, but you don't get to choose your consequence.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
And so just like we don't know what's behind it.
The obedience is the same way.
It's the same thing.
I wonder though.
That's faith.
And so
That's faith, 100%.
and so when people ask me, like, do you tithe? I will tell you this. I will give way more than 10% of what I make away. I promise you that. Okay, now is it always going to the church? No, it doesn't always.
Right.
I have various 501c3s.
Absolutely.
And people but I can promise you that more than 10% of what I earn goes away.
And it's all your resources, time.
Right.
There's more. It's more than just money.
Yeah.
It's more than just money.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, that is one thing that helps me sleep at night.
Well, that's why I think what we do with Core is so crucial, because there is no price tag you can put on changing somebody's life when they've had a heart attack and don't know if they'll ever be able to get off certain medications, but they lose a substantial amount of weight, substantial amount of body fat percentage, get off all these medications and have a different standard of living. You can't put a price tag on that. And for us to be able to dedicate our time, like you said, it's not just money. It's putting in the effort of sacrificing what your well-being would be for others. And man, whether you're giving it to the church, whether it's spending time, I'll have clients on the phone. We only have a 30-minute allotted time. I always give an extra 15 to 30 minutes depending on how busy the day is, because I know I'm going to be willing to, at minimum, give them an extra 15 minutes if they need it. It's like somebody at the gym. It's spending that extra 5 minutes having that conversation with somebody when you realize, man, is there something weighing on your heart a little bit? Do you have anybody to talk to about this with? That is an invaluable consequence of giving back. And it's invaluable. And it ends up coming back to you full circle when you catch yourself in predicaments. And it's almost impossible to see the fruits of your labor when you are in a hole and still trying to be selfless.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even have this $100 really to give, but you still did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having that faith allowed you to come out of that hole way better than before you even got in it.
Well, here, let's think about this, because we've seen this, you and I. The freeing of the liberation of getting off meds, not having to go to the doctor.
No chronic pain. The liberation of living pain-free.
So, but let's look what sin does. What's it do? It binds you.
Yeah.
It
Puts you in
binds you.
bondage. Yeah.
Okay. And so what's one of the 7 deadlies?
Gluttony.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm not sitting here fat shaming, right? Or body shaming.
We're sin shaming.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
But at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that there is a spiritual component to being obedient as far as what I put in my body, how much I exercise, right?
Well, it's in the Bible. You're supposed to care
treat
for
the
your
body like a temple.
right?
Right. Okay. And
Jinx.
so
You
now
something healthier than a Coke.
So now what happens, right? You stop doing what you're not supposed to do. You start doing what you're supposed to do, and then all of a sudden the shackles start to come off.
Shackles break off. The weight off your shoulder starts being released. I mean, having the guidance is where most people
Becomes
fall
contagious
short.
too.
Oh, it is so contagious. And we tell people, if you become a healthier you are by all intents and purposes a better you, which means your friends have a better friend. Your parents have a better kid.
Here, listen,
your
I'll
kids
tell
have a
you
better
guys
parent.
right now, Roosevelt,
Yeah.
very close friend of mine. He's going through what he's going through with his wife and all that stuff right now. And remember, this guy's got PTSD and borderline suicidal at some points in his life, right?
I did a podcast with him about it.
Yeah, and what he has to go through right now, had he had to go through what he's going through with his spouse, with her illness, he could have committed suicide years ago. But now you've got him. He's at the gym. I'm having conversations with him every morning at the gym.
How good does he look, by the way?
He looks great.
Hold on.
50 pounds. His percentage of body fat is under 20%. The guy was almost 40% body fat.
Yeah, he
lost
looks great.
50 pounds, and now here he just sent us the.
But what he's able to do
outside of just the physical.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
his an ability to emotionally process what he's going through right now is on a whole nother level. It wouldn't have been the same.
Well, that's where at the very beginning when we were talking about the neurochemical aspect of the nutrition side, people don't realize you are quite literally what you eat.
Yeah.
Your intestinal lining, they're called enterochromaffin cells. The intestinal lining is bridged with these cells that are literally going to produce your serotonin and dopamine. Upwards of 95% of your serotonin, upwards of 60% of your dopamine. And so if you're
So are you big into this gut health stuff too?
Oh yeah, I have to. So I don't know.
The whole entire program is based on it.
So
well, my niece put me on all those microbe stuff,
and probiotics and stuff like that is
yeah.
the science of that is a little wonky right now. I don't know how much of that actually gets to your gut to ferment to then be able to populate and actually do what it's saying it's doing.
I'll show you after this. I'll show you the whole protocol that she put me on.
I don't know if you're familiar. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease 2 years ago.
I heard that in the deal. Yeah, in one of your podcasts or something. But
That'd be a good documentary for you to check out.
Yeah.
It shows the efficacy of lifestyle change, specifically when you approach it from a scientifically literate standpoint. Who is going to approach their nutrition from a standpoint of doing the research, reading the meta-analyses, reading the primary source doctrines, listening to lectures from the top experts in their field? Who's really going to do that? I had no choice because of my Crohn's diagnosis to have to really figure out how the body works and what's good for me, specifically because I wasn't going to go on any medication. And so the gut health was the linchpin of everything that I do from a nutrition standpoint, specifically because of how it affects your metabolism. And when you understand that 95% of your serotonin is made in your intestinal lining, you end up realizing, maybe there's a correlation with why a majority of people are on SSRIs when 95% of the thing they're trying to supplement is made naturally in their body. They're just unable to make it. The question becomes, well, how can they start making it? How can they fix their serotonin production? If you can fix your food, you can fix your serotonin production, you can go off a lot of these antidepressants. And being able to re-regulate emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually is a big part of the health journey that a lot of trainers can't teach you because they're not equipped to do so.
Here, I had John Burke. He's a 40-year clinical psychologist on my podcast. Flat out said, at the very least, psych meds are way more effective in the presence of strong diet, strong nutrition.
At the very least.
At the very least. Flat out said it.
So if you can find a way to, if you're serotonergically deficient, meaning your body can't produce serotonin because you eat like trash.
That's your happy drug, right?
So serotonin, dopamine.
It's to feel good.
That's right.
Dopamine is your immediate reward.
Yeah,
Serotonin is like the state of your reward system. I like to think about it as your room. If your room is dirty, then you're probably not producing a lot of serotonin. If your room is clean, then you're probably producing a lot of serotonin.
Here.
If a sock falls on the floor or if a t-shirt's here or there, picking it up and cleaning the room, the action is the dopamine hit.
Okay.
But the state of your actual emotional well-being is based off of your serotonin production.
Okay.
Have you ever done ecstasy?
More than I haven't.
Okay. Do you know what it's flooding your brain
I'm on
with?
it right now.
Serotonin.
Serotonin.
Yeah. So the
MDMA is flooding your brain with serotonin.
So you guys recommend MDMA?
I think it's the greatest drug I've ever done ever. Now, would I recommend doing it? No. But that being said, because of all the other bullshit that's out there nowadays,
So yeah, you fix the food, you fix the intestinal lining, you fix the ability for the body to produce the serotonin, the neurotransmitters. You auto-regulate their body's ability to be homeostatic from a neurochemical standpoint. And if they have a neurochemistry that's in homeostasis, they can wean themselves off, let alone not depend on or lean on to clutch to these medications, namely these psych meds. And so, yeah, I mean, Roosevelt, we have so many clients. I've had many clients on my own before Core and with my gym currently where that's the first thing when they tell me that they're on an SSRI. I go, well, I got to explain what serotonin even is. I got to explain what a reuptake inhibitor.
What's SSRI?
It's a
go ahead.
It's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So it is
like, give me a brand that some people would be familiar with.
Cymbalta.
Yeah.
Lexapro.
Is that-
Lexapro.
okay.
yeah.
Lexapro.
Any
Got it.
antidepressant that you're thinking of.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Generally is an SSRI.
Yeah.
And
Got
so
it.
what they're doing is it's preventing the reuptake of the little serotonin you're producing. So it's essentially just recycling the same little serotonin that you have to keep you even keel. So if we can naturally let that still ride, I'll have people on their SSRIs while we fix their diet. As their diet gets fixed, their body's naturally just producing more serotonin. So the necessity for the blocking of the reuptake is null and void at that point, to where if they cold turkey, I've had people cold turkey get off an SSRI, they don't notice a difference. But weaning them off, working with their doctors, is how we can ensure that they're doing it the most sound way. But I mean, we've had enough client testimonials to substantiate the efficacy of not just fixing your food, fixing your fitness, but the overall holistic component that comes with those two things as an entire protocol.
Well, and you also have to look at, if you want to really get into the science and what's happening, like you'll have a presynapse and a postsynapse. So the presynapse will release the serotonin. Okay. Postsynapse, the serotonin is going to bind to a receptor.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you following me? Okay. If you sit there and flood the body with the serotonin, what happens on the postsynapse is the receptor will change its configuration. So now no matter how much serotonin you got,
It's not getting it.
it doesn't have anything to bind to. So it can't produce its effect. Are you which is why
does your
you're
body
going to
do that?
hear it's a protective mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause too much serotonin is not a good thing, is what it's telling you.
So what's happening is
At all.
it's called down regulate. Your body will down regulate. So the receptor site changes its shape. Okay. So now it can't bind. And then there's also a concept when there's not a lot of serotonin where the receptor site is going to upregulate.
Okay.
So now it's going to have a higher affinity of it.
Is this what causes the when you refer to a chemical imbalance or hormonal imbalance when people are up and down?
So what'll happen is what'll happen is no matter how much serotonin you produce, if it doesn't have anything to bind to, it can't produce its effect.
It's useless.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've heard this one. Side effects include, but aren't limited to.
Yeah. Right.
One of them happens to be
Killing
suicidal fucking thoughts. Okay. All right. And so I'm like,
It's not funny, by the way.
but no, it's not. But
It's just stupid.
But
It's
you're
just-
talking
yeah.
about an antidepressant whose number one thing
Might make
Just to
you
keep
kill
you
yourself.
might make
I
you-
mean, so and it's horrible. But my frustration with it is, look, and one thing that I try to get our clients to understand is, look, you are responsible for how you feel mentally and physically,
Especially if you
now,
have kids.
And I'm not saying that people don't need psych meds, because I think they do. I think some people need psych meds, and while I think there's psych meds will only take you so far. Okay. Sometimes diet and nutrition will only take you so far. And so you may need that other component, but I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't going to feel the best you and without good nutrition and good exercise.
Here's the thing, bro.
You're just not going to get it.
We haven't had, we've had 3 to 5, depending on how you want to qualify it, generations of absolute malnourishment and trash nutritional standards due to the Industrial Revolution. That's just a fact. And so as a result, people don't realize how shitty they feel. And until they can truly detox their body and feel normality, do they realize how good they can feel.
You know, I've heard a lot of people, I've had people on this podcast, and one of the things they say about growing up extremely poor, when they were born into that, they don't know it until they're out of it.
Yeah.
They don't, like, I never knew I was poor.
Right.
So that's one of those that you don't, if you grow up that way, eating like shit and you're fed shit your whole entire life, you don't even know that
No.
you don't even know that you feel bad because you've normalized
And
it.
and let's talk about all the babies that are fed Similac because the mothers themselves are insulin resistant, so they can't breastfeed. And then the default formula that every baby is especially the cheaper formulas that are readily accessible, are filled with the underlying chemicals that are going to keep that kid addicted for the rest of their life. And so when you start it off as a baby, if you put sucralose, why is there sucralose in Similac?
It's kind of like a crack baby being born by a crack mom.
They understand. These nutrition experts understand. These food engineers understand. If we can get them hooked early, then we'll have a customer for life. No different than the medical industry.
Oh my gosh.
And that's something that's very undervalued when you're dealing with somebody who's been engrossed in, and their brain has been.
Can you reverse the effects of that?
I believe so. I believe that's what we do.
Here, and I'll tell you right now, there's one common denominator from every single person that comes and signs up with us. The pain of doing nothing has outweighed the pain of changing.
Yeah.
Every single one of them have came to us, and they just
They're
can't
waving the flag.
take it anymore.
And so when you can
can't take it
when you can
anymore.
point them in the right direction by first educating them. Here's my thing. Tony, I will tell these people flat out, it's not your fault that you're so broken. Like, it's not. No one taught us nutritional science, let alone how to make educated decisions when it comes to the food we eat, let alone the movement we do. Frank's a strength conditioning coach. He knows all about deadlifts and back squats and all of these exercises that are so outdated that inevitably contribute to a lot of non-contact injuries. Yet somehow those are still being perpetuated amongst all fundamental athletes in their respective sports. And so there has to be this we have to update the computational system that we are operating from the nutrition and the fitness standpoint. And so when you educate somebody and say, listen, my dad grew up off of government cheese. And so for him, he doesn't care about the nutritional density of cheese if he's starving. He needs food, right?
Right.
When you deal with somebody who may have had the privilege of having Lunchables and Gatorades in their pantry, which that is a whole nother level of just, let's just say, yeah, they may seem privileged, but they're also spoiled with all these trash nutrients and trash ingredients. Every American is engrossed in this trash standard that if you can help them understand, hey, it's not your fault that we got here, but now that we open Pandora's box, it might be your fault if we stay here.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And that changes the tide for them, because once they've bitten from that forbidden fruit, they now know better. And once they know better, they can be intentional about doing better. And if they are truly a responsible adult, which if they're not, that's a whole different convo. It's like, you know you have bills to pay, you've got mouths to feed, you've got responsibilities. None of that can be as good as it will be if you don't start with the source, if you don't fix yourself first. And once they bite from that forbidden fruit of realizing, yes, there is something I have to now take account for, how I eat, how I move, the consistent discipline I maintain amongst those two fields, having the resources to leverage if I ever feel lost. That's how every single client of ours has gotten the results they've gotten, because they have been educated.
So tell me this. I come to you guys and I'm hurting. I'm 47 years old. My body hurts. I'm still fairly active.
You're describing me.
Me.
You're well here, but
Yeah.
like
Yes.
if you look at what brought this whole thing together, it's me realizing a huge component that I missed as a practicing physical therapist was asking people, what are you eating?
Yeah.
Right.
How turbocharged could your practice have been if you would have had this knowledge, right?
Well, I mean, here, how many times did me and my staff be like, oh my God, this guy or this girl, I've thrown the kitchen sink at him, every modality,
right.
every manual therapy, every diagnostic, everything. And they hurt. And you know what those patients do? They suck your will to live. The doctor's frustrated. The therapist is frustrated. The patient's frustrated. Everyone's frustrated, yet nobody's paid attention to the fact they're walking into your office with a fucking donut to Yoo-hoo.
And, okay, hey, hold on. Then they just diagnose them with fibromyalgia.
Here, you know what? It's amazing you just said that, because that is, and I told all my patients, that is nothing more than a name that they give to say, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. You hurt everywhere. And so here, we're good. And then the problem is they label it and the patient comes in and then psychologically they have pain because of fibromyalgia.
Literally.
No, you probably have pain because I guarantee, I would love to get all those fibromyalgia patients. Love to get all of them on this program.
They're dealing with chronic inflammation and poor circulation, and that's the name of the game. I discovered 5 years ago, I didn't discover this, I learned this from multiple health experts. The accumulation of all the health experts that I follow amalgamated into the reduction of inflammation and the increase of circulation. If you can increase people's circulation and decrease their inflammation, you will, by all intents and purposes, fix all of their problems. Because almost all of their pain points come from being chronically inflamed, which exacerbates the pain, but the pain itself is from improper biomechanics from an orthopedic standpoint that they don't realize their lower back pain may be a result of just chronic poor sitting and then not reversing those aspects of sitting. It may be from walking the wrong way, which then forces them to jog and run the wrong way, but they're chronic runners and they love running. And it's like, yeah, but is that running good for you? If you are doing it the wrong way to the point where you're exacerbating biomechanical asymmetries to contribute to the very pain that you're trying to get me to fix. I can't fix it if you don't fix the foundation. And most people are never taught about posture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when was the last time someone talked to you about posture?
I don't know anything about it.
You're right, exactly.
Sit up straight.
The last 10 years, I've hyper-focused on fixing people's postures because I've worked with a lot of executives one-on-one.
You like those bands?
No, trash. That's like an ankle brace. It cripples you into depending on it. Yeah.
There you go.
But
Finally fell.
Oh shit.
Oh, the microphone.
Yeah, it's all right.
So yeah, that's really the key to longevity. Fixing your inflammation by fixing your food, fixing your circulation by fixing how you move.
Well, then, so people don't understand. So, like, take a chronic pain patient. They are going to have a psychological component because chronic pain takes a pathway to the brain that connects to the emotion center, which is your frontal lobe.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know just personally, when you're sick, when you got a cold and you're sick for 4 or 5 days, it depresses the shit out of you.
Oh,
like, I'm tired of being sick.
I have more of a psychological issue with being sick or injured than that's the biggest issue that I have.
I learned a little bit about that when that one kid that I was seeing for my hamstring, he schooled me a lot on the psychological connection between a long-term, because I had this torn hamstring probably for several years that I never knew about it, but it stayed torn because I'm deadlifting 400 pounds and squatting 500 pounds and leg pressing 1,100 pounds with a torn hamstring, and it never ever healed. But I'm manning through it, right? I didn't understand the psychological neuropathways that I was establishing for the pain. He said, he goes, I don't want to tell you because I got the PRP injections done. I stayed off I went through the whole protocol. And when I went into him, I was like, man, I still feel it. He's like, I don't want to tell you that you don't feel it because I get it. Right. But you really don't. Right. You just have this neuropathway established that your body, it's a mechanism that your body's trying to tell you because you established this. You move here, it hurts because you have a tear. Now you've established that your brain still thinks it's there because you've established it. It's
no different than phantom pain from an amputee.
Correct.
Literally.
Yeah. An amputee, you could get an above knee amputee.
And his foot still hurts.
Yeah. Not his foot. They'll say their big toe. I mean, that's how, I'm not kidding you. You know how many patients I've seen that were amputees that have, and so what you have to do is you have to draw their attention to the limb, right? And so they feel it, and they stop feeling their foot.
And I never knew there was no such thing as a pain receptor, is the way he educated me.
Well, no, there is. You have what's called nociceptive.
Nociceptive.
Yeah,
nociceptive. He made me. It's like if you're getting ready to go off a cliff. It's these markers along the way that your body's telling you if you keep going, you're going to go off the cliff.
Right, but the nociception receptors in your brain, they can anticipate the potential pain that comes from that consequence. So that's where the association of the pain comes from.
Did anyone have to tell you when you hurt yourself as a kid to start rubbing it?
No.
It was innate.
Yeah.
You just knew it.
Yeah.
So but ultimately what happens is the nerves that carry light touch, vibration, and proprioception to the brain are bigger and travel faster than the pain. So when you stimulate those, it blocks the pain. So nobody had to tell you to rub your leg when it hurt. You just did it.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So there is definitely a component to it. So now what happens is what we have to do, Mitch and I, is we have to interrupt this.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And so the way we are going to interrupt this cycle is we're going to lower your inflammatory markers, okay, which is going to decrease your pain. We are going to spike the production of dopamine and serotonin
while decreasing your cortisol.
Right. And so now we're disrupting this whole entire cycle.
Bro, think about this. June 8th, I fully ruptured my Achilles.
Yeah.
no surgery. I got a text message from this guy saying, if you don't get surgery, you will never walk again. It goes to show that, through the food, by the way, because of my Crohn's, I couldn't take any pain meds.
Oh my gosh.
Full thickness rupture, no pain meds, no surgery. So I'm sitting in my bed for 2 months straight in a boot, trying to heal it. The mental component of how bad I could have gotten, I think, was substantiated by the strength I endured because of my diet and because of me maintaining as clean of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle as I could, given that I couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it goes to show you, though, when you are caught at a crossroads and you have to really decide, do I believe in the shit that I'm preaching? Frank thought I was crazy for not getting surgery.
So you never got surgery?
Never got
And
surgery.
it's fully healed?
Dude, I'll do a backflip right now. I won't actually. I won't do a backflip. I can almost
But you
jog.
could. If you could, you could.
Yeah, I
Right?
can almost jog. I'm getting to the point of almost jogging. It just makes the healing process so much longer, which again, from 18 months is kind of the number that we've marked. That,
Well, here, listen, from a holistic approach and a prehistoric approach, we never had this.
Bro.
We never had. I mean, and people didn't just die after they got Achilles ruptures.
So I'm sitting here thinking, if I preach functionality, holistic approaches, who would I be to not embody an approach if I truly believed in it? And I truly am a non-surgical intervention if it's not necessary, which is counterintuitive to Frank having had, 10 orthopedic surgeries?
At least.
Yeah, at
I've
least.
had more than that. I've just had my 11.
Yeah, so there is, he's coming from a standpoint of having gone through the orthopedic merry-go-round and seeing the limitations of it by itself, finding the fruitfulness of adding the food in. Because, Frank can give you his perspective on when I first started training Michelle, and then we put him on a diet for a little bit, and then he realized, my goodness, this is a magic formula for anybody. I've been dealing with this orthopedic merry-go-round for so long, this pain for so long. All I had to do was fix my food to get rid of it. He knew all the physical therapy side of things, the exercise science side of things, but the nutrition was missing. And having those three as a singular unit is just invaluable. So
Well, and I'm talking to the man who is saying, I'm tired of my kids looking at me this way. I'm tired of taking these pain pills. I'm tired of being laid up in this bed. I'm tired of all this. And so I was finally, because my wife kept saying, you have got to try this. You have got to try this. And I remember it was a Sunday. And the night before, I got down on some chocolate frosted donuts, man. I was going at it. Woke up Sunday, going to the gym. Back locks up in the middle of my warm-up. I hadn't even lifted the damn weight yet.
Yeah.
Okay? And finally, I just threw my hands up. And I'm like, I'm going to forget everything that I think that I know, and I'm just going to do exactly what he said. And that's what I did. And literally 10 to 14 days later, I feel like the Incredible Hulk, right? I'm not wearing a back brace to work out. I can put my shoes on in the morning without sitting down. I can bend over free. The quality of movement, everything just changed. And I'm like, and then 3 months later, now, instead of being 24% body fat, I'm 17% body fat.
And getting some muscle.
And I'm getting, and hold on. I was working out
Oh, yeah. You work out like madman.
all the time, but my body wasn't changing. Okay. Well, not for nothing, but a lot of stuff that I can do now, I couldn't do then. Right.
Yeah.
And so now my body's changing, and I'm like, okay, this is a component. Like for me, who's had total shoulder replacement, tore my left pec, 4 ACL surgeries, lumbar surgery.
Yeah.
I've had all these different surgeries, and here I am. I'm not taking narcotics. My body's changing. All this is, I feel better. I'm like, I know Frank Termini is not the only man that has dealt with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so
Well, let's talk about some of the structure of this without, revealing too much of it, because if you guys really want it, you got to tap into it. So what's your view on peptides?
I like them. Yeah, I think they're on the frontier. There's still some long-term efficacy things that I'm curious about,
Yeah.
but I'm pro-peptides.
Yeah. So
I take BPC 157.
what do you think about this GLP-1 peptide?
I
hate
think
GLP-1.
I think the nuance
I love it. And I'll tell you
the
why.
nuance is if leveraged the right way, they can be like testosterone, a superpower. But they have to be leveraged the right way for the right candidate. And I
Okay,
think
tell me more about that. I'm on it. I'm on it. Testosterone, HGH.
okay,
and-
in your case, why are you on it?
You probably take it once a month, maybe.
What, GLP-1?
Yeah.
Once a week.
Do you really
Actually,
take it that often?
It's once a week, but I split it up into micro doses, so I do it twice a week just to split
What's
it in half.
your intention behind taking it?
Probably cheating.
To maintain fat loss?
Maintain, yeah.
but
Maintain
how are you
physique.
how are you maintaining muscle mass? Is my question.
Well, if you're lifting enough and if your nutrition's good enough, you can substantiate.
My nutrition sucks.
Ooh, then you're playing with the devil's bargain, my guy.
Okay, so that's what I want to know. So I'm talking to myself, or I'm talking to you guys about myself. So I'm, you've seen me, Frank. I mean, I look pretty damn good at 47 years old. I mean, big shoulders. I'm still in pretty good shape right now. I'm a
you
little.
got to
out
weigh
of sorts.
220, right?
No, 205 this morning. 205.
That's it.
I'd be curious what your lean skeletal muscle mass and body fat percentage are.
Probably about 14% body fat, maybe 15.
Your lean skeletal muscle mass would be the only thing I'm really concerned with, given
The GLP-1.
I'll get it for you. I've got a good in body at one of the spas.
Nice.
I'll take my in body. It's got the extracellular and the intracellular water. So
Nice.
I'll get it.
Not unless you're forcing yourself to eat.
That's
I don't force myself, but I don't eat well. You know,
I'd be curious. When's the last time you got your blood work done?
Just recently. Yeah, I'll
how
let you
long
look
ago?
at the labs.
Dude, I'll audit it right now.
I actually
Got
sent
it.
two women to you, to you guys today, that we weren't trying to see what their testosterone and their hormone levels.
Did you say
are.
med spa? What med spas you got?
Healthy Looks Med Spa. My wife and I own. There's
Okay.
four, soon to be four. We're getting ready to open up Parkville.
Savage.
Yeah, so we're right over there by you know where Chipotle is.
Yeah.
They're in that little center over there. That's
Yeah.
our Liberty location.
Okay,
It's not
we got-
Chipotle anymore. It's a chicken and
Well,
waffle
yeah.
place.
No, Chipotle's still there. It's on the other end.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
chicken
I got
waffle's
that
on the
chicken
other.
waffle
Yeah.
there.
We got one in Lee Summit, one in Overland Park.
So what services are you offering?
All full aesthetics, so anything facial,
Okay.
Botox, all the injection
Yep.
services, really anything. It's a full,
Are you doing
full med
like
spa.
so? You're doing like IV drips, all that stuff.
We don't do IV at my location. My niece is a nurse practitioner. She
Okay.
owns a hormone clinic. She operates under the same DBA as us.
Yeah.
But hers is a separate entity.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
I'm telling you right now, I could, if you let me audit your blood panel just by knowing your blood panel, and if you had a rudimentary in-body scan, that would be enough to qualify.
I have all that. As soon as we're done, 'cause
It'll be enough to-
it'll
yeah.
mess up my my recording here if I do
Fair
it now.
enough.
So
Yeah,
afterwards
okay.
we'll look at it. 'Cause I'm curious because I
A live audit would be cool though. Just saying.
But here, we've had people not leave us, not stay on our program because we tried to wean them off the GLP-1s. These are skinny, 120-pound women
Mhm.
who are being prescribed GLP-1s.
And
I have a problem with that.
It's a terrible relationship that some people have with them because of how they are promoted on a mass industrial scale, when it's a dangerous, slippery slope because of what we have personally seen with certain individuals on the downside of depending on them.
Mhm.
Because right now, short term, individuals may feel like it is the super drug that's keeping them seemingly, emphasis on the word seemingly healthy, but they don't understand the long-term effects, namely from a sarcopenia standpoint, from a muscle loss standpoint, as we get older, in tandem with the muscle loss that comes from the GLP-1 itself. And if you're not nourishing yourself, because what a GLP-1 is doing, for all intents and purposes, it is satiating you from a hunger signaling standpoint. It is a hunger blocker that's blocking you from being hungry. Simplest way to think about it.
Mhm. But there's an insulin. It's
No doubt.
an insulin mechanism, right?
No doubt, yes.
Well, that's why it was.
Yes,
That's why it was.
That's why it's
for
for
diabetics.
diabetics.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But just to keep it simple. Go
But
ahead.
it's so. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's eliminating the spike, right? Doesn't
It's
it eliminate
limiting.
the insulin?
I wouldn't say it's eliminating.
Or not eliminate? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
reducing. It's
Reducing,
It's
yeah.
reducing the
Significantly.
insulin spike.
Significantly. And what it's so the intention of what this GLP-1 is doing for diabetics is to make them more insulin sensitive.
Yeah,
That's the point of it.
sensitive. Yeah,
Yes. Insulin resistance, I've said this 4 times, but for all intents and purposes, is the underlying mechanism from which all metabolic diseases stem from. I will say that again. Insulin resistance is the foundational mechanism from which all metabolic diseases stem from.
i.e. cancer.
All metabolic diseases. All metabolic. Cancer didn't
Yeah.
exist until the early 1900s, which is what's wild.
Yeah.
It's like, how come it didn't exist before then? Probably because we didn't have the bullshit food costs in it. If we can't understand that insulin resistance is the problem, the question becomes, what's the best mechanism to go down that route to resensitize? When we approach things from a food standpoint, our whole approach is to naturally do what people are trying to get from the GLP-1 and all these other sort of cheat codes or all these other outlets for expediting the results they want. The problem is there isn't a lot of people qualified to really teach them the nutritional side. Finding somebody that's up to date on the nutritional literature is in and of itself the biggest problem. We are super outdated. Registered dietitians, nutritionists, everybody in the field is mad outdated. And unless you can approach their nutrition from a scientifically literate resensitizing of the insulin sensitivity, you're never really going to be able to fix their metabolism. And so when you have people depending on and leaning on these GLP-1s, it's mainly from a standpoint of they aren't leveraging the actual weapon, which is the food that can actually resensitize them. And so from your standpoint, I'm concerned that because you're not eating good foods already, the GLP-1 is preventing you from overeating. If you were overeating without the GLP-1, you would at least have more nutrients from this malnourished diet. But because you're eating less from this malnourished diet, you're even more malnourished. And that's what's going to lead to ultimate sarcopenia and muscle loss, because your body's going to be like, well, we ain't got nutrients. Where the fuck are we getting it from?
Sarcopenia is bone thinning.
Yep, and it's
okay.
your body saying, give us the nutrients from your muscles since we ain't got shit to operate from a metabolic standpoint.
Does that cause atrophy?
That is the
100%
definition
what it
of
is.
atrophy.
It's
Sarcopenia
exactly what it
is
is.
aged atrophy.
It's atrophy.
Yeah.
And so that's why you could look.
But why don't I have it then?
There's
Well, you're
probably
also
twofold.
taking testosterone,
Testosterone's the biggest one.
growth hormone,
HGH is another,
and then you're working out.
and you're lifting.
90% of the people on a GLP-1 are not working
They're
out.
not doing any of those three. So the testosterone and the HGH.
So I'm okay.
Here, this is what Mitch is trying to say.
I look
So
great.
the GLP-1 is going to suppress your appetite, but so will eating the right foods.
Literally.
It's
And
going
eating the
to
right
spike a hormone in your brain that tells you, I'm not hungry anymore.
And it's going to naturally release the very GLP-1s you're getting
Can I
exogenously.
eat Dots pretzels with the
No.
cinnamon sugar?
Let me throw something else at you. No.
No.
But you don't have to. Here's the thing, though, Tony. You don't have to forego.
I'm a snacker. What do I
preach.
what do I snack on?
The problem is similar to, and take this for what it is, similar to the same behaviors that led you down a road of addiction are the same behaviors that are leading you to snack. Snacking is a byproduct of needing dopamine and fulfilling boredom. If you are properly satiated, you won't want to snack, you won't need to snack. But when your body is distorted from a palate standpoint, when you have these hyperpalatable foods, since we were babies, it forces you to not really have an association of eating with what it's intended to, which is to fuel the body. We now associate eating with it feels good. And so your snacking isn't a food standpoint problem. It's a psychological standpoint problem of the, I want to feel good, give me a dopamine hit.
Yeah, well,
and
all
you
of my
have to-
snacks are sitting by my bed.
Well,
That's when they are. When I'm bored at night. You're right. You're
Yes.
exactly right.
Well, but here,
I could have predicted that.
You have to
Yeah.
also discern between hunger and craving, because if you say to yourself, you think you're hungry, can you go eat steak and eggs? Nah, then you're
Yeah.
probably just craving
Right.
some bullshit.
It's almost every time. Here, I'll give you a prime example. The other day, we went out talking about gluttony. We went out to eat. Me and Tony did. We were both full of shit. And he goes, "You want to get ice cream?" I go, "I mean, I kind of do, but I don't really. I'm full. Are you full?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "But I kind of want ice cream." I said, and that's when I educated him on the sin of gluttony. Right? I was like, "Hey, there's just because we can doesn't mean we should."
Nice.
I said, "There's a lot of people that have no idea when their next meal is going to come." We not only know when it's going to come, we're going to get more and we don't even want it.
Dude, so imagine when
let's just not.
Well, that's the thing. Imagine I have a first generation immigrant or an immigrant and his first generation son from Kenya asking me how they can get healthy. I've got a couple from Venezuela that are 25 when they move here. They're now 36 and 100 pounds overweight each.
Yeah, right.
Imagine I have all these people from different cultures that for them there is this, help me get healthy. And it's like, bro, I'm going to have to deduce your entire cultural background to explain why you eat the way you eat to begin with. Yeah. And so I always break it down. Why
Italians.
Who's
worse?
Yeah. So with my wife.
I just had some pasta Milanese the other day out the Sons of Columbus. It was great.
Le capisco l'italiano?
Yeah, no, not really.
Io non capisco un po' l'italiano.
Yeah, no, capisco.
Oh, okay, I don't speak any either. I can just say a few things. My wife, when I first met her, they have Sunday dinner every Sunday. Like I said, her grandparents are from Sicily. And so the expectation culturally of what they experience from a food standpoint, I have to almost let them be. Mm-hmm. But with her and the younger generation, her cousins, some of her uncles and aunts, there is a conversation to be had of think about this outside of the cultural norms that you're used to. And that is in and of itself for people the hardest thing, especially when you come from impoverished conditions. Because you're telling me to not eat beans, you're telling me to not eat rice, to not eat bread. That's the foundation of all of my cuisines.
Yeah, right.
And the closer you are to these impoverished cultures, the more substantiated those trash foods are in their repertoire. And so I have educated people on that front to understand. I have a Muslim who's from Kenya and his whole family has now learned.
You got a socioeconomics freaking...
Well, it's really geocultural, geopolitical. It's more so understanding like, why do poor people eat the way they eat? I came from a poor background, so I had to ask, why did my dad feed us hot dogs and macaroni growing up, right? Then I asked myself, would I have been 6'5" if I would have eaten steak and eggs?
Yeah.
But now I'm only sitting at 6 foot because I had hot dogs and macaroni. You know what I mean? And so if we can teach these parents now to be more literate for themselves, think about how selfless it is in putting their kids in a better position, not just physically in their development, neurochemically in their development, temperamentally and behaviorally in their development. On all of those fronts, you by proxy have a way better child in their development, which you can't put a price tag on that if you ask any parent, especially the ones that when they have a kid that's 18 and another kid that's 6, and they start raising that kid that's 6 with better food, and they see where they're at 14, which I have seen personally, there is almost this guilt they have of like, why couldn't I have known earlier? And it's like, don't beat yourself up for it. At least you know now.
So you're telling me abusing my son last night verbally for being a shithead in wrestling, and then letting him come home and lay next to me eating an Andes and ice cream. I just parent failed all the way around.
Nah,
I don't think
Let's not throw the baby out the bathwater.
No. I mean, here, my dad used to.
All right, so if that was an everyday thing, then that would be parent fail.
That'd be gluttony.
My dad, when I was a kid, younger than baby Tony, my dad used to work at Cascone's on the weekends, and he would wake me up in the middle of the night when he got home from the restaurant to go eat with him. And I would go downstairs and I would eat. It could have been cereal. It could have been donuts. It could have been a combination of the two, right?
Yeah.
But that was our thing. Now, my dad was diabetic by the time he was my age, right?
Lessons learned.
But at the end of the day, I said to myself, I'm not going out that way.
Right.
I'm not doing it. And I think the reason why, like here, had I not had these orthopedic pains, would I have ever changed my diet? No.
Right.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's get into a little bit. Are we okay on time? You guys good?
Yeah, I got about 10 minutes.
Okay, so let's get into a big thing in the fitness and nutritional industry is macros. Is macros
shove them up your ass.
So let me ask you something. So would you say that the selection of food sets dominant priority over the macros 100%. Any day of the week?
Here, I guarantee you.
Is macros a part of it though? Is
not
it
kind of. We acknowledge the existence of macros, but we properly place them for where they belong in that it's categorized. So we'll compartmentalize carbs versus fats versus proteins. And we really in nature, you only get fats and proteins together or carbs and proteins together.
Right, I do know that.
And so for us, in knowing that, we can almost ex-nay the protein side of it because we're thinking energetically what our body needs from a metabolism standpoint. So we're thinking mainly carbs and fats. And from a carb versus fat standpoint, if you can properly place the category of the types of food you're allowed to eat and the ones you have to avoid, you will naturally get the amount of protein you need. You will naturally limit the amount of carbs or fats that you should be getting every day. You will naturally calibrate and taper whatever those macros should be to what your body actually needs.
Okay. Huh.
So yeah, we don't track macros, but we do I always say the quality
Well,
of
that's freaking huge. That's an important selling point, I think, that people need to know when looking at and examining what you guys offer.
Nor will you ever ask to be hungry.
yeah, you can eat as much as you want.
Just eat the right shit.
Just eat the right shit. And when you have experts guiding you on what to eat, it makes your world way easier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the difference.
You don't have to count macros, and you never have to be hungry, and you're gonna lose weight. And if you exercise, you're gonna build muscle. If you just come on the program and say, "Hey, I don't want to work out. I only want you to guide me in nutrition," fine. Because here, I lost 13 pounds in 4 weeks after my hip replacement. Didn't get to work out. Followed the nutrition program, went from 211 pounds to 198 pounds. And most people are like, that's freaking awesome. Well, yeah, but my percentage of body fat in those 4 weeks went from 17% to 21%. Right? So I lost 13 pounds, but 8 pounds of it was muscle.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wasting away. Not,
which is fine.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather be in a position to where I have to try to gain weight now than have to try to lose weight. So that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to gain weight.
And here's the thing. Frank has approached this from an orthopedic expertise to then learning from his own experiences from an orthopedic pain standpoint. He was in a lot of pain, seeing what the food could do. I'm approaching it from, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I had to, from a nutritional standpoint, understand the nutrition side. But as soon as I ruptured my Achilles, I had to be mindful of the orthopedic pain side of it. So we are both not just preaching a certain aspect of the principles and protocols that we are facilitating, we are also practicing the very things we're preaching, which is in and of itself something, how many trainers can really say they're doing that?
Here, I'll tell you another thing. My orthopedic surgeon called me up and asked me, he goes, how are you doing on pain pills? I said, I ain't taking a pain pill since the third day. I didn't take them. I didn't need to. I did not have, and simultaneously woke up from this surgery in more pain than anything that I've ever had in all my surgeries.
Your hip? This is your hip surgery?
Horrible. Yeah. Yes. Horrible pain. They had to give me 100 mics of fentanyl and 10 milligrams of oxycodone to get my pain under control after surgery.
Wow.
And then once the pain went away and I got home, it never really came back.
That's good.
I was only taking pain pills because I was like, I don't want this shit to sneak up on me. And then I realized after 3 days, I'm like, I'm not going to take one this time in 4 hours. I'm going to wait. It never came back. Ice, laid there.
Lucky bastard, he had pain pills.
Yeah. I've woke up from total shoulder, a pec tear, ACL, back. None of it was this bad. Yeah. But I swear to you, and the doctor was like, you don't need any more pain pills?
He's too good. His inflammation's down. His pain points are down.
Give me some Cliff's Notes versions of what kind of foods do I eat?
You eat ground beef, you eat fish, you eat steak,
high fat, high protein, animal-based foods is going to be the staple of your diet, and it has to do with the nutritional density that those foods are offering.
For anybody that's out there that likes all these old fad diets, whatever, would this be closest to like a paleo type of
closest to like a keto Mediterranean? Except but even then, it's not even
carnivore.
Not even carnivore.
No. And you get to eat vegetables and fruit.
It's technically keto if we want to call it that, but it's really a fine-tuned version of a high animal protein diet. It's the best way to think about it, because you got to realize from an anthropological standpoint, humans have evolved like all animals. I mean, go to the zoo and feed a koala bear anything other than eucalyptus and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like animals have evolved to eat a certain way. If you go to the zoo, they tell you not to feed animals things outside of their diet.
For a reason.
For a reason. Yet we don't think that we have to adhere to that. So the question ultimately becomes, how did the human anatomy evolve? How did we adapt from a metabolic standpoint to operate from the foods we ate? And if you go through the history, we are and have been apex predators. What do apex predators eat?
Meat.
And then you have to ask yourself, how long have we been doing that? How long have we been cooking it? How has our digestive tract actually evolved from a metabolic, from a digestive standpoint? And then if you can just answer those questions, that's what our diet is. And I had to discover most of this through my Crohn's, because I was told that I needed to eat specific paleo diet, or I needed to eat this brat diet, which was bananas, rice, apple, and toasts. What dumbass invented that diet?
Yeah, that's when you have diarrhea. They talked about.
You know what I mean? I was on a low FODMAP diet. So none of these worked. And the last resort I went to was a very extreme version of what we preach, which mine was a pure carnivore diet. But I'm not going to put it, there's no need to put people on that, specifically when you have ways to adapt the strictness that could otherwise bring. And so, yeah, we have like 10 pages worth of foods that you're allowed to choose from. We don't even tell you exactly what you have to eat. It's here's a list of food, adhere to these, don't adhere to these, avoid these foods. And by following that, we start calibrating recipes. We start calibrating varieties, whether it's breakfast, lunch, potential snack options. We don't really call them snacks. They may be midday meals. But it's giving them the education along with the autonomy. And that's how change is substantiated.
I got a challenge for you guys.
Yep.
I'm going to be a case study for you. Maybe you already have somebody. I don't feel bad. I feel great. I look great. I'm pretty strong. There is nothing in me that's forcing me to want to change other than acknowledging a level of intelligence here that you guys have and my desire to want to live longer and be healthier.
So here's the thing.
I want to do this program because out of pure intelligence, that it sounds smarter than what I'm doing.
Well, but here's the other thing.
But I don't have any incentive to change.
But you also don't get to take the GLP-1.
I get it. No, I'm saying
Well,
I
see where you're coming from. Your non-incentive to change is because of how good life seems to be. But I'll tell you this. I was smooth.
So how do you take a guy like me who says, "Hey, man, I hear you guys, and I think that your way sounds way more intelligent than mine, but I don't feel bad, look bad, sound bad. I can afford everything that I'm doing. I have no pain points right now that are causing me to want to change, other than just being intelligent.
You don't realize how better you could feel.
That's what he's good. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't realize how much better.
That's what's going to happen.
So is that what you're going to tell a guy like me who's coming to you? Say,
you're
hey, man,
coming to me. I didn't come to you.
I listen to your podcast. I listen to your podcast, and your way probably is more intelligent than mine. But I really don't. I like how I'm doing.
I would say this. I would say at the end of the day, we will only lead horses to water. We cannot make them drink. And most programs that try to ensure and guarantee a certain outcome is usually bullshit.
Yeah.
I'd love you to follow this food plan for 60 days.
What you will find is we don't need to guarantee a specific result, but we can guarantee that you'll feel better, you'll look better, your lab results will prove that all of those markers are substantiating the physiological things that you can mentally and physically feel. But you just don't know how bad you feel relative to how good you will.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I'm willing to take.
So yeah, it would just
if I can feel better than I do. I always joke, people like, how you doing? Like, if I were any better, I'd be 2.
Just wait. Yeah.
Here, this is what I'd like you to do. I would say go do an in-body scan.
Send us your blood results from the last test you took.
All right, and then
I just took labs 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay, and then what I want is you to eat the way we tell you to eat. Mm-hmm. Do another in-body scan in 60 days and blood work again in 60 days.
Mm-hmm. We'll let the results speak for themselves.
And then the results can speak for themselves.
But you'll feel as we're going along this journey too. But ultimately, if we want to clinically measure things, that's where
But here's the thing. As far as testosterone, you could take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not on a high dose, 200 a week anyway.
Do you know where your testosterone levels are at?
They're in the tank if I don't. But yeah, they're on the labs. I think 800, 900, something like that.
I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, it would just be your compliance
because you got to keep everything else. You have to keep everything else.
Am I going to
static?
Am I going to want to wean off of the GLP so that I don't have a big influx of?
No, because you get to eat when you want to eat. You just got to eat the right shit.
Okay. What about all these? Do you like these factor meals? Because I just bought like 20 of them.
It depends on what's in them. We can calibrate.
I have them up there. You take a look.
I'll take a look at them when we go up there.
Yeah, it all depends on what you're.
They seem good. I mean, they seem right.
Well,
yeah. Here, you know how many people come to me like, "Oh, I eat clean," good. And I'm like,
no, "I know,
dude.
I got
you're 5'4", 220.
I got cool. Hey, I got Cool Ranch Doritos, popcorners, and cheeses by my bed now.
I had a guy look me in the eye. He was 5'7", 235 pounds. Okay, and looked me in the eye and told me, I eat good. I'm like,
All right.
come on, bro. And I had to be a kind of an asshole because I'm like, no, you're not. I promise you, you don't eat good.
Yeah, define success.
So then he wrote down everything he ate for a week. I said, before we do anything, I don't want to take any money from you. I don't want you to even sign up for this program. I said, I want you to write down everything that you eat because I want to look at it and be like, I want to know that I can help him.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I want to know that I can help him. So he writes, I'm like, fuck.
Dude,
I could have thrown the whole thing away. I wasn't like scratching little things off. I just ripped that son of a bitch up and said, don't eat that. None of that ever again.
There's not one.
Sir, with all due respect, you're lucky you're still alive.
Right. Yeah, there's not one person that on this planet that I don't think we could help because at the end of the day, we're all humans and humans have to operate off a baseline of physiology and biochemistry. And so if we understand from a scientific standpoint how to biohack that for all intents and purposes, naturally, holistically, namely through your foods and how you move, most people don't realize how good they can feel. Bro, wait till, not just the food, wait till we start fixing your posture. Like there's an aspect of your base biomechanics that for a lot of our clients, until they see me in person and we actually fix their walking mechanics and their posture, the food is in and of itself getting them crazy results. But as soon as you can fine tune your base biomechanics, how you lift will look different. The exercises you do will look different. I mean, that is in and of itself a whole nother conversation, but
we don't even have to fool with his exercises.
Yeah,
now, I do want to mess with your posture. I do want to do that.
Everybody needs to.
I do want to fix your posture for sure because a lot of your back issues, I watch you at the gym. I'm there most of the time, the same time you are. So I look at it and I'm like, your back pain is because of your posture.
And I've hyper-focused on posture the last 10 years. That has been like my main claim to fame when I've helped people from a personal training standpoint. And so, fix your food, we fix your posture. Those are going to be the two main things we would hyper-focus on for you. But more importantly, it's going to be working with experts that can educate you along the way. Like once we tell you, stop eating this, instead of just telling you the how, stop eating this, we're going to explain the why. Stop eating this because it's doing X, Y, Z. And as you go through that process.
I like that stuff because I can make the mind-muscle connection, the association.
Literally.
Well, but here's the other thing. You want to drive behavior, you have to tell somebody why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Literally.
for sure.
You have to tell them why.
Yeah.
You ought to watch that Simon Sinek. He has a talk that's called Start With Why.
Start with why. Yeah, I know exactly what that is.
You have to, if I want to drive your behavior, I'm going to tell you why I don't want you eating a banana and a rice cake before you go to bed.
And how many people do that? Yeah.
Did he go? Was that the one recently I watched where he said, get one of your very, very closest friends and ask them why am I one of your closest friends? And they're going to begin to tell you like all these reasons, and all they're really telling you is about what they like about you. It's not really why. I'll send it to you. This clip is really, really good because you get deep into and really help them uncover why. A lot of people don't know why. If you ask me
why I'm close with my closest friends, I don't have a fucking clue.
Well, really, honestly, because we're the only ones.
Matter of fact, I don't even like you.
We know because we know of all the shit you did, and we're still around. So just by proxy, we're fucking here.
By default.
Yeah. If I look at everyone that I'm close with, I'm like, you know what? No. Yeah, I don't want to be friends no more. No, I love them all. I do. I love them all. But no kidding, if you look at some things that you're eating, and here's the real kicker, and the only downside that I would say, and I don't even know that it's a downside to have this, but we were in where were we just at with the Tulsa, and I didn't get to eat. I was starving. Okay. And finally I looked at my wife. I'm like, I don't give a shit where we go. I am pounding food. So I broke all my rules. And then now I'm like, well, I put the quarter in. I may as well play the game.
Yeah, right.
So now I'm like, I'm going to get dessert. Okay. I woke up on Sunday.
Yeah.
And my entire body hurt.
Yeah, right. And your soul.
My soul felt good.
Maybe not the soul.
But my whole body hurt. And so that is the shame on you, Frank.
And his body now, though, you got to realize that pain he was experiencing that next day, he had been living in that as a state of normality for years. And it wasn't until he detoxed that feeling found a new normal of comfortability that he was then reminded of how shitty it actually was. That's the power.
Yeah.
That's the power. Is being
And
able
that's
to.
what keeps. That's the sustainable part.
That's the sustainable part. Literally.
I told my wife, I said, I said, you and Gianna got to go. I'll meet you there. Because I couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and everything hurt. And I'm like, you guys just got to go. I had to take a shower, 20-minute warm shower, get my body moving. All these things that I've never had to do.
When I did that bodybuilding show, eating so clean for 36 weeks, I was in prep. So I did an 18-week prep. I was or 35 weeks, 18-week prep. I was off for a week and did another 18 weeks, something like that. 37 weeks total. And I went from 24% body fat to 3%. Super clean, just shredded. And we had pizza, cookies, cake, everything that night after the show.
Woke up swollen the next day.
I barely made it to the room. I was almost in a food coma.
Right.
I mean, it was literally, it was like I just ingested a bottle of poison.
Yeah.
My body just was like, what?
And you really
just
did.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Just because you had
did.
detoxed for that long period of time.
It was, I mean, I remember I told I was hunched over walking back to the room. I thought at any moment I was going to puke or pass out. I didn't, or maybe both at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
It was bad.
And that's another big component of it is the
I gained 33 pounds in 2 days.
You see, but that's the relationship people have with food is the biggest component of what we're dealing with from a psychosomatic standpoint. From a mental and physical standpoint, people don't ever really look at the relationship they have with food. And when they go on a diet, it almost exacerbates the worst qualities of whatever the relationship previously was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they never taught the why. They never taught the actual reason. And if they are taught the why, it's probably an incomplete, outdated version of a why. Yeah, it's like, yo, you need to be in a calorie deficit because you've already fucked up saying you got to be in a calorie deficit. Because no, you don't. No, you don't. Well, you got to make sure you get 2 grams of protein per. No, you don't. Why?
Yeah.
Like these are things that if you understand mechanistically the actual science behind them, you can complete that data, complete that information to really change that relationship someone has with food.
I bet when I started this with you, this was probably 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. No?
Yeah, I bet it was,
like-
Mitch.
yeah,
it was
like
about
a little
about 2
over
years
2,
ago. It was right around this time of year.
It was before the Crohn's though, wasn't it?
No,
It
was after.
It was after the Crohn's.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we had done the podcast
That's
for the
right.
Crohn's.
That's right. Yep.
So I bet you that I lost body fat. I transitioned from 24% to 17% body fat. And I guarantee you, I ate between 3,500 and 4,000 calories. a
Literally.
day.
Bro, I eat 2 pounds of ground beef and 16 to 18 eggs every day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you're how much do you weigh?
I'm like 192.
Yeah.
Well, here, but look at Frankie George. So Frankie George is just now here. He couldn't gain any weight. You know why? All he could eat is ground beef. He ate chicken. He ate vegetables. Now we're starting to incorporate, we're giving him some rice because he's 92 pounds.
Yeah.
A kid should weigh
Yeah.
120.
That's the thing. We're not anti certain
Now, mind you,
foods.
he has a stomach issue.
No,
That's
I
why
get
he
it. Yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah.
short.
No, I
Yeah,
get
We're not anti certain foods other than explaining why we may be cautious of their immediate integration in our diet. So what we have to do is we have to think about, and the book I was going to give you is my most recent book. It's called Fireproof. You ain't even ready yet, have you?
Uh-uh.
Come on, cuz.
No.
I need to get cuz ready.
No.
The whole point, but he also knows the story. The point of the book is our bodies are chronically inflamed to where we are, it's like a wildfire, a wild blaze. And unless we can tame and extinguish that fire, can we then reintroduce some of the kindling that before would have kept that flame lit the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
But if we can take that kindling out, let the flame extinguish, and then we put the kindling back in, we can maintain that fire into a more controlled bonfire.
Yeah.
Then we can leverage aspects of inflammation as long as it's controlled and tempered. And that's where the sustainability factor of being able to have some alcohol infrequently, have some sugar, have some bad foods infrequently. These are things that you don't have to give up completely, but we have to make the body fireproof. We have to detox the body, get that flame of inflammation extinguished, then reintroduce things in a smart way. And only then will you really know what foods are doing what to your body. Because you'll have the reaction, like he had after he had overindulged, to know maybe that thing didn't settle right with me.
Mm-hmm.
But
So I want to do the 60-day challenge.
Yeah, that'd be solid.
And then let's do before and afters.
Yeah.
Let's do the body scan like we would with any client, but you're only going to go on 60 days.
All right.
Just 60 days is all we want you for.
I got to get mentally prepared for this because I'm having to get off of.
So when do you want to start? In 3 weeks?
On day one or one day.
Yeah.
I got to give up my Doritos,
Listen,
my
we'll
popcorners.
start next week. We'll give you like
Monday.
6 more days.
Yeah.
Here, let's do this. Let me get Tony through state, which is next week.
Okay.
So this week is districts. He makes it to state. We got next week, and then so the following week. So
we'll
3
start-
weeks.
You can always tell. Listen, how about we'll get clients that will literally schedule a call in like a month. We're like, you're not ready. I don't even have to sit down with you. You're not ready.
Listen, I'm just going to say this. It's either one day or it's day one.
Yeah. Well, here, listen. I want to do it because I like challenges.
Yeah.
That's all it is to me. This is
For
just
sure.
a stimulation.
And you can do anything for 2 months, bro. I've been having to live a certain way.
Yeah,
the
you
last
did time for 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. I did, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
I
Okay.
said
so
maximum
that's-
security penitentiary. For 4
Oh,
years.
that's a whole nother convo we need to have, man.
Oh shit! I'd rather do time than give up my Doritos.
Listen,
A lot of people would.
you got to tell me.
I miss Oreos,
but
bro.
here's the thing. Here's the kicker. I was driven by pain
Yeah, right.
to change my diet. And initially I thought to myself, how the hell am I going to not eat pasta? But I got to tell you something. You don't even crave it.
Well, I do. Listen, when I did that bodybuilding show, 36 weeks. 37 weeks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a long prep to
yeah.
eat clean.
Super-
And,
Well,
and
right,
get-
but
get-
you were still also eating
Certain
a
foods
lot
that
of
were-
sugars
that
and
were
a lot of carbs.
That were
You were-
triggering your hunger signaling.
Yeah.
yeah, which is why you're going to be able to do that, but now you're going to do it without being hungry at all.
Right.
Right? And so now you're not going to have that hormone telling you got to eat, you got to eat, you got to eat.
Literally.
You're going to have the hormone telling you, hey, I'm cool. Here, you know how many times I'll have people come to me and be like, oh, I'm still hungry all the time. What are you eating? Fish, grilled chicken. Okay, you want to eat fish and grilled chicken? Add bacon.
You need to add some fattiness to it because
Yeah,
that's
the fat's what satiates.
Well, it's gonna satiate.
you got two hormones. You've got your ghrelin versus your leptin.
Leptin,
And ghrelin is released through carbs, leptin is released through fats. And so as long as you understand ghrelin, like a gremlin, is going to make you hungry, leptin is the exact opposite. It's going to satiate you.
Yeah.
Well, where do those come from? That's essentially a foundational principle that we operate from when resetting those hormone signals.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you got to get people to listen. You want your body to target fat for energy, you have to give it fat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
You have to
Yeah.
give it fat.
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing, bro. Once
understand.
we explain the biochemistry to you, that's where it really will start clicking. Because
I know a lot about it.
Oh,
I-
no doubt. It
yeah,
already
yeah,
sounds like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
it's again, it's going back to. I have no doubt that you, like many people, have a substantial level of a foundation of knowledge that more times than not just needs to be completed with like 5% more updated info that we all have only had access to the last 10 years.
I've got discipline like a psychopath too.
I mean,
Here, listen. The whole reason I did the bodybuilding shows because I wanted to be shredded. It just gave me. I just
No
wanted
doubt.
something to incentivize me because I'm not. Listen, I entered into 5 bodybuilding classes for my first show, and I won 4 of them and took second in the other one.
savage.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't compete to play. I compete to win.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. How you do anything's how you do everything.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
my
That's-
saying.
I had my first dance lesson yesterday. And the little girl came up to me and she goes, "What is your expectations?" And I said, "We're going to win." Now here, I'm walking in with a little bit of a limp because, I had hip surgery 6 weeks ago. And she looks at me like something's wrong with me. I said, "Listen," I said, "we are going to win."
Yeah, right.
I'm just letting you know that that's what's going to happen. We're going
what
to
I'm
win.
here for.
What's funny is, when Frankie George was boxing with me, that was the main. I kept telling him this quote: "How you do anything's how you do everything." And then when I came across your stuff and the fact that was something you preach, it's like, yeah, man, there is so much that you already have substantiated. All we got to do is add another 5% of updating some information that will just click because of the foundation you've already got.
I also want to add a little bit of this in there because from a morality standpoint, I feel like now where I'm going with my faith and everything, I'm on my faith journey, and I want to weave that back into this conversation because I truly am trying to be as biblical of a man as I possibly can. And that includes health and nutrition,
Yeah,
right?
literally.
So I can't can't very well preach being a good father and a good husband snuggled up to a bag of Doritos in my bed. It's, you know what I mean?
100%, bro.
It's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
It's hypocritical. I mean, really, how you doing things, how you do everything.
Yeah.
If you're sneaking off to bed, you know, I got a 6-pack, I look good and all that, and all, you know what I mean. So it's kind of a lie. A little bit, because I'm, you know, if I have these photos of myself, I did a video just Sunday of how I look at 47, and then I showed me going and buying all the snacks at Target.
See, that's the thing. I was in the same boat, man. I had a 6-pack. I was sub 10% body fat. I looked good. I was, for all intents and purposes, show ready to be able to really like display my physique as something that I had worked for.
Yeah.
But I ate like shit. And one day, without me having any signs leading up to it, I got super sick, got sick and diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
And, you know, it will likely, only 0.4% of the population gets diagnosed, so it's very unlikely that it'll happen to you. But you don't want to have anything happen that is unforeseen that could have been prevented if you were just a little smarter and intentional about your decision making, namely from a food and a movement standpoint.
Here's the deal. I'll leave you with this. And I don't like selling things to anyone.
Mhm.
I don't. That's why people like, they get on a call and they're like expecting me to sell them. Like, I'm going to educate you.
Mhm.
You can either buy it or not. I want you to buy it, but I really don't fucking care.
Right,
I mean, you
right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like, I'm just going to give you straight up what we're about, what we do. If you like it, come on. If you don't, I don't want you to, because you're going to quit anyway.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But bottom line, and nobody can rebuke this, your health will not stay the same. It's going to get better or it's going to get worse based on what you do. My health ain't going to stay the same. His isn't going to stay the same. Yours and anyone's listening to this, your parents, it's not staying the same.
Mhm.
It's going to get better or worse.
Yeah.
And it's all based on what you're going to do.
Yep.
Now, I have the tools. Mitch has the tools. I shouldn't say we have them. We've acquired them, right? Okay.
accumulated.
We've done our due diligence.
Mhm.
We know it works. If you want to come on board, I'll tell you what I would do. Here, how many people have we talked about that we want to have come on and help us with client acquisition? And nobody wants to give a money back guarantee. I will.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you
I'll
follow
do it.
exactly what we say
And
for
you don't
60 to
work,
90 days and it don't work,
I'll give you your money
Not
back.
only keep them, I'll give you money.
Yeah,
I will
right,
give
right.
you money.
I'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will.
right.
Matter of fact, you can put the money in an escrow account and we won't take it until you get your
Right,
results.
right.
I seriously, that's how much I know it's going to work if you do what we.
I mean,
Now,
look at our clients. Look at our client testimonials.
the people they're like, well, I really didn't do it this way. I kind of did it my own way, and I kind of only did this. And I'm like, you fucked everything up. You didn't do anything that we really told you to do. And that is really, and so there's always something. Like if they come to us and we're like, man, these results don't look right. Write down everything you eat for the next week. Every time there's
wrong.
all kinds of shit that's wrong because they're trying to do it their own way.
Yep. Says
If
you're
you
trusting the
just
system.
do it and get to your goal, then you can do that and maintain what you've built.
Ergo,
Yeah.
the whole extinguishing the fire of inflammation to get to a point where you can unlock a new standard of sustainable living. You may have to avoid some BS at first, but that's to detox your body. Once you've detoxed your body, you can reintroduce certain things without it affecting your body the same way. It's literally that simple. But you have to have the right protocol.
Yeah,
You
some
gotta
of
have
it's
the right
just a
guidance.
mental dependence.
That's why having, though, accountability,
Craving versus hunger.
having two savages regularly remind you of what you're doing and why is enough accountability and discipline that you need where you literally don't even have to think about it.
Yeah. I had one girl be like, if I'm going to have a trainer, they got to be in front of me. And I'm like, okay, so you want to have your trainer in front of you for 1 hour a week when you could have us every single day,
all day, every day.
Yep.
whenever you
Call
need
me,
us.
yeah.
Whenever you need us.
Now you're just making excuses,
Yeah.
and you're already making them. So don't even bother. Okay, so don't even bother. I'm not even going to sit down with you. Don't even. When you're ready to change, let me know. So all right, I got to get out of here.
Well, what else? We got anything else? Let's wrap up. We can wrap up.
Yeah.
I think that I want to see what happens to you in 60 days.
Listen, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Just listen. If nothing else, listen. My heart of hearts, I'm down for it to support you guys and what you're doing because I believe in you guys, and I'm excited to just see what would happen because Frank. personally, I mean, I'm not bragging here. I think I would be a great case study and a testimonial for you, because you're going to take somebody who is a high performer, an individual who looks great, and so my baseline's high.
Right.
It's anybody can take some fat guy that's 40% body
But
fat.
when you're to get you to another standard deviation, when you're already 3 standard deviations from the mean, that's proof in the pudding of the concept. I agree.
Correct. And so that's
Matter of fact, we really don't have anything to do but potentially lose. I mean, our backs are against the wall.
But here's the thing: did you see us flinch once when you said that? You didn't see me flinch once.
Well, I love it. I think it'd be awesome if I can listen. I'm already at a high level. My doctor, Dr. Wayne Chappelle. So I see a psychologist. He's the team doctor for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I got turned on to him through my church. And the only reason I sought him out was because I wanted to hit another level in my life, like personally, right? And so he's helped me. He's a strong, devout Christian. Obviously, he's a psychologist. He was the leading expert authority in the Pentagon for suicide prevention and all that stuff. And he was with the military for 20 plus years and retired and went to work for the Thunder. And he's Pastor Craig Groeschel, with Life Church. He's his doctor, and that's how I got turned on to him.
You ought to read his book, Soul Detox.
Who?
Craig Groeschel.
I've read a lot of his books. I don't think I've heard of that
Soul
one.
Detox.
Right.
Read it. You're welcome.
He just released another book that just came out, and him and my Dr. Wayne wrote it together. Dr. Wayne actually wrote the clinical pieces in my book too. Nice. But anyway, so I sought him out not because I was broken and I was suicidal or anything like that. It's because I know that I have resources, and I know there's other levels in life, and I want to make sure that I'm getting all out of life that I possibly can. And if you guys are telling me that there's another level to my physical life, why would you not want to do it if it's there?
Literally. Even if there's going to be another level, that I'm going to tell you. But let's say there wasn't, it's still going to help your longevity.
Okay,
that is the next level. That's a level.
Yeah, that is.
But
the next level.
I'm telling you, your body's going to still change.
Wait till we have the blood panel and the in-body scanner in and of themselves going to be clinical markers that you'll be able to cross-reference on some. Don't listen to us. Look at the results.
Yeah, right.
And then we're going to come back on in 60 days.
All right.
We'll go through the results.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. We're going to come back on in 60 days.
Yeah, we should just come back on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to come back on in 60 days.
Yeah, okay, nice.
We'll do a follow-up.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And do your befores and afters.
Yeah.
This is harder than getting off meth. I quit that cold turkey, but I almost lost my family and everything else.
Tone. When I stopped doing cocaine, I immediately started feeling better.
Yeah.
Okay. I got off sugar. I was sick for how many times did I call you and be like, dude, is this normal?
Detox.
Am I supposed to be sweating? I mean, it was harder to get off sugar.
Detoxing.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
It was harder to get off sugar.
Yep.
Man,
I don't ever crave cocaine anymore, but I want that Oreo. That fucking Oreo, you'd be like, oh my God, I know it's in the other room. I know Frankie has one.
I saw it. Oh, all right. This is good. This has been good. I enjoy it. Listen, I could probably talk to you guys all night.
Man.
I nerd out on this shit though. It's interesting to me. Anytime you can take something and make it better. I'm all for that. I love it. And listen, this is a whole different topic and subject matter of what I typically talk about on this podcast. But this podcast, what I started it for, and I'm going to leave you guys with this, or I want you guys to leave with a comment. And Frank, you've left one before, but you can do another one. I want to help people. I want to help. My goal, obviously, everything I do, the premise behind everything I do is to lead people to Christ. I want to rob from hell and give to heaven. And overcrowd heaven, right? And so that's the premise of this podcast. And it's usually in the form of I have people that have dark pasts that came up from addiction, abuse, everything, right? All walks of darkness and great comeback stories and overcoming. And that's what typically we have on here. So this is a really cool episode because it still fits in with all of that. People don't, but the problem is, and this is how this is a spiritual warfare, really. The devil disguises himself in food, and people don't make that association ever. When have we ever called? I mean, jokingly, we say that food's the devil, but it really is
temptation.
It's the
most immediate form of temptation.
So if you can somehow wrap your mind around the spiritual component to all of this, and really really attach that, so for my listeners, people that subscribe to this, there's a spiritual component that a lot of people like this podcast for, right? And so that is very much a piece of this, right? Mm-hmm. And like I mentioned too, the portion of the morality too. Yeah. So this has been an awesome subject matter on here on this because it's different. It's different, but it's the same. And if you look at it that way, this is all a form of spiritual warfare.
100%.
It really is.
Well, here, think about it. How many people, they're high performers. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're making tons of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Mm-hmm. Okay. But they'll tell themselves, I don't have time to go work out. Mm-hmm. One of my clients, I'm not going to mention his name, even though he probably wouldn't care. I told him, I was like, come on, stop. I know you're a multimillionaire. You can really do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Right.
Don't tell me I got to go do this and I got to go do that and I got to go. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can do whatever you want to do. You have worked so that you could be autonomous. You don't have to do anything, right? But still, okay, he can't find time for himself. And I said, you're going to make all this money. You're going to set your kids up, but are you going to be there to enjoy it with them? Are you going to be Are you going to be there to enjoy your grandkids? Are you going to be there to enjoy your kids and see them get married and see your grandkids grow up? Are you going to be there at 350 pounds right now? Are you?
Do you know what the number one thing that people, when I talk to people, when I tell about a new endeavor or things that I have going on in my life, you know what the number one thing that they say to me? People that know me well and know a lot of what the number one thing they say to me is, where do you find time to do that? And you know what the truth is? Do you know how long 24 hours is? Go sit in jail. I'm going to tell you how long it is.
Yeah.
You watch that clock.
Bro, I go to bed.
The clock goes backwards sometimes.
Yeah.
In jail.
I go to bed at midnight almost every night, wake up at 4 a.m. and get to my gym by 5 a.m. and run the gym from 5:30 until noon. And I'm usually on phone calls from noon to 3, and I'm back in my gym at 3:30.
Yeah, so here.
And people ask the same thing, and it's like, you make time when you've got time.
Surprisingly enough, people are like, when do you sleep? And I joke, well, what's this thing sleep you call? But you know what the reality is? I sleep 7 hours a night. I get up religiously every morning. Actually, I beat the alarm clock. 4:58, my alarm goes off. I can't tell you the last time I actually got up to my alarm. 4:58 in the morning, I get up. I wake my son up. We go to the gym. I run 4 dealerships. My wife owns 4 med spas. We have 3 kids in competitive sports that aren't ever in town. We get it all done. And we go to church. We pray. We go on dates together. You know what I mean? If you look at my life, there are 24 hours in a day. I sleep for 7. I have 17. You know how much shit you can get done in 17 hours if you make something of the time?
Preach.
Yeah. There's the difference between being busy and productive.
100%.
And every time I start a business, which is what, I shouldn't say we started it a year ago. It'll be a year in April when we took on our first client. But every single time I have these when I start a business, I find myself in situations where I'm busy, but I'm not productive.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. And I find myself doing that every time I start a business, and it's not any different.
Well, here, I'll tell you, I live the life as a meth addict. I would be busy for 3 days in a row and got nothing done.
Yeah. No, I told him today, I'm like, because we're interviewing certain companies to help with client acquisition and social media marketing. We're both green to it. I mean, we could train you all day long, but we got to get you to come in.
Yeah, right.
Right. But I told him, I'm like, this whole deal with, I got to wait 3 weeks for a call. I want someone who is going to be with me, holding my hand through this every day.
Because that's the same service we offer to every single client.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I need it. Don't tell me, we're going to have our typical Zoom call in 3 weeks. You could pound that up your ass. And then you know what I'm doing? Everything's running through my head. Nothing's getting done, and I'm staying awake. No.
All they're going to do is tell you every 3 weeks or every month that you're on all your analytics that your SRPs are going up, your this, your that's going up, your key events are going up, all this shit's going up. You're going to be, that's funny, but my bank account ain't going up.
They're just saying a bunch of shit, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm like, I want someone to walk me through this social media stuff, and I want it done now.
Right.
Not in 3 weeks.
Well, we'll see what Andy Elliott says when we go out there. You booked that deal, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I am going to go listen to him now. That's another story. We're not going to get into that.
Oh, boy.
But
Oh, boy.
yeah, here, you know what? You tell him offline your experience.
Right.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go listen to it for myself. And I'm going to go see what he's got to say. Now I'm interviewing a company tomorrow. We're interviewing a company on Thursday. And I told them I want to talk to Andy Elliott too.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, we'll talk offline.
So,
anyway, it's just been great, man. This is a great show. So we'll get back together here, and it's probably gonna be more like 75 days.
that's fine. Yeah. When Baby Tony's done with state, you call me.
Yeah, we'll get it. I do want to do it 100% though. I will do it. It's gonna be fun. I'm always up for a challenge.
Well, I'm going to guilt you into doing it now.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just because I enjoy doing fun shit.
In the pen,
I like doing
word
hard
is
shit.
bond. Word is bond.
Yeah,
So it's like
I like
if you-
doing. I love doing hard shit.
Yeah.
I do. All right, fellas. Last thing here, I want to leave you with this because this video is probably going to play until Jesus comes, which could be tomorrow. It could be 1,000 years from now. We don't know yet. What's that? All
My
right.
wife.
All right. Tell her to hang tight. We got 3 minutes.
You tell her.
Hang tight. We got 3 minutes, Michelle. Bye. So if somebody 100 years from now watches this video, I get it. Medicine and what you guys are talking about modernizes, right? And we learn more as we go. But give me a message for someone 100 years from now that's going to transcend time, that's going to be relevant then as it is now. Something that you want to leave for the generations to come.
I think there's a reason why Jesus is considered the way, the truth, and the life. The truth aspect of it, I think we take for granted the power of living in truth. That's my whole moniker. It's lit, L-I-T, live in truth. There is so much power in foregoing the biases of your ego and the temptations of your narcissistic, egoistic perspective, that if you can forego that and just try to truly live in truth, that is a timeless anecdote of wisdom that I think will help anybody in their lives, no matter where they're at in this journey of the human race, of humankind.
Amen.
It's living in truth.
Amen.
Well, and to piggyback off him, we're practicing. Like, I'm a practicing physical therapist, so I'm constantly seeking truth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm seeking truth by way of continuing education, by way of most up-to-date research, by way of all that stuff.
And I have Crohn's, so if I'm wrong, I end up in the hospital.
Yeah,
So,
right. Yeah, right.
yeah,
right.
If I'm not living in truth, it shows.
So we're perpetually seeking truth, okay? And we're not going to just sit there and close our eyes to say that what we're doing right now is the same thing we're going to be doing in 5 years, because we are going to constantly be educating ourselves, not just for us, but for our clients.
Evolving with the times in accordance to the truth.
Yeah.
I love that. You guys, so my motto in life that I live by, and then what I tell people, my disclaimer or whatever, my claim, there's two things about me that you can bet everything that you own on it, and you will be fine. I'm going to tell you the truth as I know it, and it's going to come from my heart. Now, my disclaimers that come with that is I may be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
As you
what-
know it.
As I know it. That's
As
why
you
I say
know it.
Because,
the truth as you know it. That's a big
my,
part.
My expectation of our relationship is if you have a better truth, you're obligated to tell it to me.
Obligated.
You're
Yeah,
obligated
agreed.
to tell it to me, right?
Agreed.
And just because it's coming from my heart, it doesn't mean you're going to like it.
100%.
So those are my disclaimers, right? And that's it. So it
That's
fits
awesome.
right into what your guys' whole thing
100%.
is, right? So anyway, well, I appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate you
It's
having us.
been a ton of fun, very informative, and I think there'll be a lot of people that really like this stuff. And so,
We'll talk to you in 75 days.
yeah, and I will. I'm going to link off when I do the editing and everything, and I'll link all of your guys's your Instagram. I'll get ways out there. Do you want me to put cell phone numbers in there? Do you want me
can
to
put mine. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They could DM us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
What's
We
the
got a
best
master-
method of contact that you guys would like for me to I'll put them all in there. I'll link all you got a website?
Yeah.
I'll link your website, your Instagram, you got a TikTok.
My Instagram, TikTok. So on my Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
there's our website, our masterclass, and those two things,
Do all
and
the
a
links.
coaching
They're
application.
linked in the bio.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's all in the bio.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just
So-
tag my personal Instagram on top of all the ones that are in his bio, and that'll be easy.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's all there.
Love it. All right. All right, fellas. Well, I'm gonna hit my outro. All right?
Beautiful.
Hang on. Wait, don't leave yet. Gotta do my music out. Well, that's another successful episode of the Stronger Leader Podcast. Frank, Mitch, man, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for being here and spending your evening with me. Listen, if you liked what you heard here, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell so you get the notifications of all the new stuff drops. And as always, be good, be blessed, and be stronger. Peace.